Copy the values from the old to the new. Add on checksums. Then last position. Right out file. Okay. So in what we call pseudocode, i.e. in English or something like that, that's roughly what we've got to do. First problem, well, we've done the sum. We can do the 2's complement, that's over there, we flip the bits and add 1. We create a new array. Alright, how might we do that? By new buffer. We don't know what size it's going to be there, but somehow down here we've actually got to create it. So we've got to say new buffer equals new. Forgive me if I get the syntax slightly wrong. You get the idea. We've actually got to say that we want it to be an array of bytes, but we've got to give it a size. Now what's going to go in there? How big do you want the new array to be? You want it to be, you want it to be the size of the old one plus 1. So in other words, you want buffer dot length case plus 1. So at that point, we can create our new buffer of the right size. How do you think you're going to copy the old values into the new one?
Forward. You mean forward?
Splendid. Forward. In fact, you could actually have used this forward if you play the cards right. And you could say something in there. New buffer I equals buffer I, assuming that you had created that before you went into that forward. So we could save ourselves a little bit of bother and do that over there. Because as soon as you've read in that file into that buffer, you know what length it's going to be. So immediately after that one, you could actually do the create new array. So we can move all of this create new array up to that stage there, which is anywhere before that forward. Finally, not quite finally, sorry. We need to do that. Into the last position of the new buffer, we need to put the value of checksum. What is the last position of the new buffer array?
New buffer dot length.
We stuck the checksum into the last position, and hey, alright, so I've done that bit. Write out the file. No, I can never remember it. File. Write all bytes. Test file 2.dat, and then you need to tell it what you're trying to write out, which will be new buffer. Something like that. Okay, the neatest piece of code you've ever seen, isn't it? But that will stick out whatever's in that buffer out to that file, and you're done. Okay. Now then, does that make some kind of sense? We've seen that we've used 2 arrays, we've added up the contents of one, we've copied it to a new one, we've appended something onto the bottom end of that array, and rewritten it out. Does it make some kind of sense? So, right, let's do the advanced thing here. Can anybody tell me why this is an awful solution? or why you actually wouldn't do it like this. It's easy because you can do it in relatively few lines of code. Why wouldn't you do this?
It uses up a lot of memory.
It uses up a lot of memory. Can you tell me 2 reasons that it uses a lot of memory?
Well, it stores the both files in the memory.
The first point is that we're using 2 arrays to store almost exactly the same thing, which is a complete waste of memory. So you wouldn't do that. Second reason, I'm sure Casper's going to leap in here and say, okay. You wrapped it up in your first answer.
Yeah.
Why the hell do you need to put it in memory in the first place? The stuff's stored perfectly happily on disk. Why do we need to store it in memory? What we could have done, and what you would do if it was a real solution, is actually read the file in a single byte at a time and do the sum as you're going. And then, instead of all of this business here, you would open the file for appending. You haven't done file handling yet, which is why I didn't want to go down this route, but just so you know what you would do. You open the original file for appending instead of for reading, and stick out that extra 1 byte on the end of it, and you're done. So actually I could do this a whole load quicker and a whole load with more fancy, more efficiently in terms of memory, with some other things, but I'm absolutely sure that you haven't done arrays, you haven't done file handling in C# yet, and I don't want to get into the intricacies of that. Tell me you haven't done file handling in C# yet. I'll not explore that route anymore. Some people who have done this stuff in the past, I have seen, have used that solution. That was a perfectly fine and adequate solution. This just happens to be relatively easy. I can get it onto 2 sides of A4. Right. Anybody want to ask any questions at that point? Is that clear as mud, or is there something there? Good. Right. In that case, I was going to say we'll finish early. It's not really very early. Pub? Pub. That sounds promising to me. You'll go to the pub and have a good time, and I shall go and do some more work, because that's what we're paying for. If there are no more questions, we'll call it a day for this year. I'll say thank you very much. Can I just briefly get some kind of feedback on what you thought of the course so far? Now, this is your chance to be very rude to me. Say this is gibberish, what the hell are we studying this for? Alternatively, you can say, I like this bit, I didn't like that bit, other bits you thought I did well, other bits you thought I've done badly. Would you like more people in the lab to support you? Would you like gold-plated USB keys to be handed out? Would you like more comfortable seats in the lecture theatre? What do you think?
More comfortable lecture theatre, otherwise your module's awesome. Yeah.
Please write to the Vice Principal and say, this module is awesome and we'd like some more comfortable seats.
More soldering.
More soldering. More soldering. Interestingly, I haven't forgotten that exercise. I don't know whether you're all in the same lab where you heard it. We had some requests, in fact I got numerous requests, could we go and play with some real chips and do some soldering and build some logic circuits? And I kind of went, yeah, what a tremendous idea, because I like that kind of thing, that's my background. As soon as I went away and started asking the question, where can we go in the university to do some of this sort of stuff? Oh, health and safety, soldering irons are hot, you can't possibly do that. Fire hazard. So I'm working on it, I haven't forgotten it.
We have to make the soldering society by any chance just to get on that.
Well,
we did suggest that.
To be honest, that seriously is one route I'm looking at. It would actually be much, much easier rather than coming from me. But I'll see what we can do. There's a thing going around at the moment. The Vice Chancellor is very keen on the idea of prototyping in HackLab. Now this isn't HackLab as in penetration testing, hacking kind of thing. This is as in hacking hardware things together. So there is some interest in doing this. So do we have a first aider, please? Somebody's having a fit. No. Sorry. I haven't forgotten that. I will try and do something, but it's going to be next semester. That kind of thing. Last notice, so you have realised that this class does not end here. You've got another semester of it. I think it's a 2-semester class, so I think all of your other classes are only one semester, is that right?
Yeah, should I do some computer security is 2 semesters?
Alright, so beg your pardon, I've been misinformed, some of the other one. But yeah, we will continue in January when we must start looking at software and operating systems, but I'll probably start with a bit about networking. Now, I'll take these in order. We didn't have a point over here, sir. You had your hand up and I didn't take you in. Alright, yes?
What do we have to do for the first one?
What do you have to do for the coursework? This is the wrong point at which to ask that question.
doing anything.
Thank you. What do you have to do for coursework? Basically, you have to write up all of the lab sessions that we've done, stick it into a PDF file somehow, and submit it electronically via WebCT. Okay, that's all it is. There shouldn't be any extra work involved beyond what you've been doing in the labs. The reason it's done as a portfolio rather than doing it weekly are manifold and to do with staff resources and that kind of thing, but also to do with giving you a chance to catch up. You know, if you've missed one lab, you know, you've now got from now until January the 10th to catch up to go and do it. Admittedly, you're on your own doing that, but you've got a chance to do that. So write up what you've done, stick it in a PDF file, preferably so I can see, you know, that your answer, this answer on this page belongs to task so-and-so, question number, whatever, this is the answer, this is what I did, this is how it works. Show me some evidence of thought and brain power. You are solving problems and you know how you're doing it, brain power. And then I'm happy with that as an answer.
That's actually what I was going to ask about, is the date for submissions. Well, no problem with it as such, but it can be a bit awkward being smack bang after Christmas holiday. Why is it there? Does it have to be there?
I actually have it's one of the few things that I have no control over whatsoever. The hand-in dates are dictated from on high somewhere. Basically, I think it's a historic thing that they've always said that the 2 weeks after Christmas are for doing practical work and catch-up kind of thing. Not to do that. If there is something daft like the server's gone down and you can't submit it, encourage the thought that kind of thing might happen over Christmas while there's nobody here to fix it. You know, then we'll worry about that kind of thing. Frankly, if we do have problems, or there are snow problems or something like that, for this class it doesn't really matter. We're a 2-semester class. All I'll do is cope with it somehow. But the 10th, and that is fairly rigid, I should say. But 4 o'clock on the 10th, the submission system will kind of close the gate, and anything after 4 o'clock, you're out. So please do try and make sure you get it in before then. Merry Christmas.